Well, when we think about Trace Adkins and what brought Trace to the party, it's the music. You have a new album that's, I guess, completed?
Yeah, I'm done with it. I turned it in November. I don't know what they've done with
it. Maybe the disc is stuck in a player somewhere.
Maybe so. But yeah, I finished the record. I worked on this on and off for a couple of years, just took my time with it. And then I found the right home where I felt like I should be over at Broken Bow Records, Wheelhouse. And so here we go. We came out with the first single and it's doing well.
Ready to ask you some questions? Are you ready to answer anything that anyone can come up with?
Sure.
All right. Well, stand up if you have a question for Trace. State your name and don't upset him.
I got a question about when you were on Celebrity Apprentice, going into that show, and when you kind of find out who the rest of the cast was there anybody that was a surprise to you as far as who their personality or persona is on camera and how they were in real life? Was there any surprises?
Surprises. Everybody seemed to be pretty much what I thought they were, I didn't know that much about Penn Jillette, but just fell in love with the guy off camera. I mean, he's just a great guy. And, he's my favorite atheist. I think he's great. He may be the only atheist I know, though. So, not saying much, but yeah, he was a great guy. Gary Busey is just as crazy as he appears to be. He's legitimately nuts. He really is. And Trump is exactly what you see. Yeah, I mean, where the cameras, I tell people all the time, they ask me about Trump, what's Trump like? And I say, he's exactly what you see on television. He's like that all the time. It doesn't matter if the camera's on, if there are people around. I mean, he is the most arrogant guy. I mean, and I find it comical and charming in a way. I get a kick out of it. I mean, you stand there, I look at the top of his head and I go, I can't believe this guy is so arrogant, It's funny to me.
Any other questions?
I'm Bill. What music inspires you to do what you do? And then what artists do you like now in the current music of any type of music that you really follow or like?
There are a lot of those new guys out that I like, man. I think Brett Eldridge is really awesome. I really like him.
He's another big guy.
Yeah, Brett's a pretty big guy. Rhett, but Chris Stapleton has been. Everybody thinks Chris Stapleton is this new thing. I've been listening to Chris Stapleton for 12 years, about 12 years. I've recorded a lot of songs he's written, and I just, I'm really, really glad that the world has discovered Chris Stapleton. I mean, he's just one of the most amazing singers I've ever heard. And the thing about Chris, he's a songwriter first and foremost, and so I've recorded several of Chris's songs over the years. And sometimes, though, Chris will write a song and it's not a great song, but you hear it and you go, God, that's great. And then you start to record it and you realize the song's not really that good. It's just Chris, and you thought it's that good because of Chris singing it, but sometimes even Chris writes a crappy song.
Well, nobody's 100%.
Right, yeah. Influences, the list is pretty standard, guys my age, Merle Haggard, Waylon, Willie, George Jones, of course, Don Williams, a lot of those guys, but when I heard Ronnie Millsap, and when I had an opportunity to start making records, I wanted to make Ronnie Millsap records. And the reason I say that is because when you get a Ronnie Millsap CD, you never know what's coming next. Ronnie can sing a pop song, Ronnie can sing a stone cold country ballad, Ronnie can sing whatever Ronnie wants to sing, and he sounds, you know, and I wanted to be able to do that because Ronnie had all those influences early in his life, and so did I. I mean, I was influenced by Southern rock and, you know, and all.
You were into gospel music.
And I sang bass. I started out singing bass in a gospel quartet. That was the first thing I ever did, and that was a total accident because I was playing guitar for a trio of guys, and we were rehearsing for a thing they were going to do, and I was singing the bass part. I was standing back behind them, and then the lead singer stopped and turned around and said, "Stop." And I went, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry." And he goes, "No, is that you singing the bass part?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Come up here and sing the bass part on the song with us." And that's how it happened. And then from then on, they wanted me to just start singing with them all the time. And I did that for 4 or 5 years or so. But at the same time, I was taking my guitar and going to hay rides, and I'd go in a beer joint and sing George Jones songs. And that's where the Jesus and Jones song comes from, because, you know, you start out, I grew up in church, blah, 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 and so the first thing I did musically was sing bass in a gospel quartet. So I was, you know, singing for Jesus, and then at some point I end up in a beer joint, and so that inner struggle, who am I, you know, where do I fit in on this spectrum somewhere between a church pew and a bar stool? I don't really know, and sometimes I lean one way or the other, you know.
Whatever life throws at you.
And not to steal anything from McGraw, but, you know, I think I'm a pretty good man, but sometimes I'm a pretty bad boy, you know. So there's that struggle, and that's where the Jesus and Jones song came from.
Well, all right. Well, I think we're just about to wrap up. I know you got to get, you're flying down to LA today.
Yeah, I gotta go do some kind of award show tonight. I think it's on Reels. It's called the Movie Guide Awards. I don't know what it is. They asked me if I wanted to come sing Jesus and Jones on TV tonight, and I said, okay.
Well, Trace, thanks so much for
Matt, good to see you
taking some
again,
time.
man.
Yeah, man, it's good
I've
to
been doing this, you know, my first single came out in April 1996.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so I've known this guy. I've seen him all over the country for the last 20 years.
He can't hold a steady job anywhere he goes.
Can't keep a job, bless his heart. And bless his heart.
That's right.
No more questions. No.
Well, thank you all.
She's got one question.
Just one really quick one more of a thank you than anything. I'm the wife of an Army captain. Thank you for all you've done for the wounded warriors.
Oh,
We're having
man.
a game tomorrow.
Two teams playing tomorrow against the NFL also.
Is that right?
Yeah, the
Outside
FT's
the
team.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a flag football game tomorrow.
How great is that? You know, there's been some, you know, the Wounded Warrior thing's been in the news
Right.
here lately. And, you know, I've been working with the Wounded Warrior Project now for 6, 8 years, something like that. And every single night when we do shows, there are Wounded Warriors at our shows. They come through the meet and greets. We see them every single night. And you would think that in the last 8 years or so, since I've been working with Wounded Warrior Project, that there would have been at least one guy that would have come through at some point and said, you know what, the Wounded Warrior Project, they don't really take that good care of us. I've never heard that said once, not one time.
Right.
You know, and I don't know all the inner workings of the thing, how much the CEO gets paid, but I do know this. It is a logistical nightmare. I mean, that whole organization is huge, and they try to take care of hundreds of injured veterans, and I mean, it's a huge undertaking, and you need somebody that's competent, and you're going to have to pay the man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, no Fortune 500 CEO is going to quit his job and just go run something just
For nothing.
for nothing. He's not going to do it.
Right.
You're not going to get, if you don't want to pay somebody to run it, you're going to get somebody like me, and it'd be screwed up. You know? I mean, it'd be messed up. So, you know. But I just wanted to point that out, and I haven't had a chance to say anything about it since that story came out, but I haven't once in all the years, and that's my tour manager, and he never hears any of them gripe either.
Right.
I mean, you know, I shake their hands every night if they have hands, you know, and they never say anything disparaging against the Wounded Warrior Project.
Trace, thank you so much, sir.